The sun burned red on the horizon, painting the desert sky in hues of fire and ash. The land was silent, too silent, except for the low cry of a crow circling above. Dust clung to the air, and the scent of smoke lingered, as if the earth itself mourned. It was then that he appeared. A lone rider, hat tilted low, clothes torn by time and trail. His horse carried the weariness of miles, yet its rider carried something far heavier, scars of a past he never spoke about. This cowboy had no name that folks remembered, most just called him the Drifter. He wasn't searching for fortune, nor glory. He was searching for redemption, something to ease the weight pressing on his soul. But destiny has a way of finding the broken. As he dismounted to drink from a shallow stream, his eyes caught a movement beyond the mesquite trees. What he saw froze his blood. 3 Apache women, bound to a tree, their wrists tied raw, faces streaked with dust and tears. And standing around them, laughing like wolves, were 5 outlaws. Their guns slung loose, their boots pressing into the earth like they owned it. The cowboy's hand instinctively reached for the knife on his belt. His revolver, empty. His rifle, lost in a card game weeks ago. All he had was a blade and a fire inside that refused to bow to cruelty. He could have walked away, nobody would have known. But he knew he would have known. His conscience, already scarred with too many regrets, would never forgive silence. He whispered to himself, not this time, not again. With the stealth of a mountain cat, he approached. Every heartbeat pounded like a drum. Every crunch of gravel beneath his boots threatened to betray him. He waited for the outlaws' laughter to rise, for their attention to drift. Then, in a moment of sheer courage, he stepped forward. "Let them go," he said, voice steady as steel. The outlaws turned, startled at first, then breaking into cruel grins. "Well, looky here," their leader sneered. "A cowboy with a death wish." The cowboy's grip on his knife tightened, but his eyes didn't flinch. "They're not yours to harm. Cut 'em loose, or I'll do it myself." Silence fell. Even the wind seemed to pause. The Apache women stared, eyes wide with both fear and fragile hope. The leader laughed and spat in the dust. "1 man against 5? Boy, you'll be buzzard food for you blink." But courage doesn't measure odds. It measures heart. What followed was chaos, quick, brutal, desperate. The cowboy lunged, knife flashing. He fought not with strength alone but with something deeper, the will to stand when standing seemed impossible. He slashed a rope, freeing 1 woman, even as fists and boots rained down on him. Pain split his ribs, blood filled his mouth, but he did not stop. The freed woman grabbed a fallen branch, striking 1 outlaw across the head. Another tried to draw his pistol, but the cowboy's knife found its mark, sending it clattering. Together, they turned the tide, Apache spirit and cowboy grit united. By the time the dust settled, 2 outlaws lay unconscious, 2 fled into the wilderness, and the leader crawled away, broken and defeated. The cowboy, battered and bleeding, staggered to the tree and cut the last rope. The women were free. For a long moment, none of them spoke. Then one, the eldest, placed her hand on his shoulder. "You carry the heart of a warrior," she said softly. "You did not know us, yet you fought for us." "Why?" The cowboy lowered his gaze. "Because once, someone needed me, and I wasn't there. I can't undo the past. But maybe I can fight for the present." The women exchanged a look of understanding. In their culture, warriors were honored not for the battles they won, but for the battles they chose to fight. And this stranger had chosen them. They guided him back to their camp, tending his wounds with herbs and care. Around the fire that night, he listened to their stories. The struggles of their people, the losses they endured, the strength they carried. He realized something profound: respect was not born of blood or heritage, but of action. Days turned into weeks. The cowboy helped gather water, hunted alongside their brothers, learned words of their language. He was no savior, no hero, just a man who had given what he could and found in return a place of belonging he never expected. Yet, the Wild West was never kind for long. The outlaws would return. The land itself would test them with hunger, storms, and the endless shadow of conflict. But this time, the cowboy wasn't alone. And the Apache women, once captives, walked with heads high, survivors who carried their scars as proof of their strength. When the time came to ride again, the cowboy saddled his horse. The women stood by, gratitude shining in their eyes. "Your road is long," the eldest said. "But know this, you will never ride alone. Our spirits ride with you." He tipped his hat, voice quiet but firm. "And I'll ride for what's right, as long as I've got breath." As he rode into the horizon, the fire of dawn breaking across the desert sky, his figure grew smaller until it blended with the land. But the story, the courage, the respect, the survival, lived on. And maybe, just maybe, that was his redemption. Closing message, for YouTube audience. This is not just a tale of the Wild West. It is a reminder, for us today, that courage is not about winning every fight. It's about standing up when it matters, even if the odds are against you. That respect is earned by actions, not words. And that survival is not just about living, but about protecting the dignity of others. Because in the end, true bravery is not measured by what you gain, but by what you're willing to give.